We got a few questions about stocks because we were talking about Warren Buffett, how he does things, and Bradley is kind of asking some questions. He's a little more interested in things now. So I'm going to show you the easy platform for me to use, and I'm thinking I'm Joe Everyman. I have dealt with other platforms. I love E-Trade. It is simple to use. Anybody can do it. My child's 15. She's been playing with this since she was 14. And I would like to believe that most people can do anything a child can do. So I have several different accounts here, and I have a basic account for a brokerage, a basic brokerage account. I have an IRA account, and I have a SEP IRA. That's for my business. And then I have a max rate checking account. Basically, Bradley wanted me to go over some of the IRA stuff. He also wanted me to go over into the simple brokerage account. So I've decided we'll come over here and we'll look at something called What We Offer. E-Trade does this for you, and it's a great idea to come over here and look at it before you sign up and put your money into it. So I tacked on this brokerage account, and you're gonna simply set this thing up, and you can do stocks, you can do ETFs, you can do mutual funds. But stocks and ETFs have a zero commissions. It costs you nothing to trade these things. Mutual funds, some of the prices vary. I've had some of them that are no load, no transaction fee. The majority of mine are. Options, I don't deal in options myself. I'm not a big gambler when it comes to that, so I don't want to guess if it's going to go high or if it's going to go low. Bonds, I don't deal in bonds either, so I don't know a whole lot about bonds, and I refuse to deal with futures because futures, that's just another form of gambling, man. And if you're going to do that, you may as well go to Vegas and grab those crap dice, and you got just as much chance, in my opinion. But some people say that you can do enough research on it and you can make some really good money with options and futures. It's just too much, and I've got way too much going on to fool with that. But don't get me wrong, that may be your thing. You may have a little more free time. You may want to get in and check it out. If you do, go into it understanding. You can lose your ass. You can lose everything. Just understand that what I'm doing is safe, and remember, I'm 50 years old, just letting you know. So I play things pretty safe. I don't like to play easy and loose. Also, we got a retirement accounts here that they offer, and they offer 6 different programs here for retirement. One of them is an IRA rollover. So let's say you work for Joe Neckbone or Jane Neckbone's company, and they had an IRA that they set up for you when you got started. You worked there for 2 or 3 years. You got invested into it, and now you're out. You're no longer there. It's just kind of sitting there in limbo. That means it's not making you any kind of real money, and you don't really have control over it. Well, E-Trade lets you roll that over, and you can learn more about that by simply tapping on the Learn More. But you can roll that over into their account, and then you'll have complete and total control over it, and you don't have to worry about Joan or Jane Neckbone having a hold of your money in any way whatsoever, because E-Trade will let you take care of it from there. Also, a Roth IRA, and that is more of a you'll pay no tax or penalty on qualified distribution if you meet the income limits. But that really means you fund it with after-tax money. So you've already paid the tax. That money should be tax-free whenever you go to pull that out. Okay? Then you have a traditional IRA. Theoretically, that should be paid with before tax earnings. Chances are it won't be. So I wouldn't really count on that. But you will owe the tax when you go to pull that out at retirement. Also, they have a beneficiary IRA. Let's just say your grandfather, your grandmother leaves you some money. Rather than have that money in there, it's from their retirement, they will literally let you open up a beneficiary IRA and roll that money into it so that you can defer those taxes for a number of years, or at least until you are retired. And then you'll slowly start paying that as you pull it out. But there's some strategies to that too. And remember, at 50, I've got 15 to 20 years before I'll start pulling it. and a whole lot can change legislatively as to how that money will be picked up, and we'll pray that it's beneficial at that time for us. And then you have a complete IRA, and you can start pulling that out at age 59 and a half, and it converts your IRA into a more flexible spending program, so that once you start pulling out a percentage, you'll just be paying taxes as you pull out, not in one bulk lump sum. And then of course we have what my child has, which is an IRA for minors, and I can start putting money aside for her, and for if they're underage, of course. If they're under 18, that's what makes them a minor. You should know that by now. And you can start funding their IRA as early as you are humanly possible, if you want to help them out down the road and you're able to. And just think, in the big picture, what's $25 a week? What's $25 a day in the big picture with how we're spending things to see to their future for when they're older? And but you're probably thinking, well, hey, I need to take care of myself. And that's a little selfish. So, and then they have core portfolios. That's a bigger thing. I don't use that. They have a managed portfolio where if you already have a group of stocks, they'll manage it for you. I don't do that because I don't trust other people with my money. And of course, they also have banking, which I'm pretty, I'm a big deal with this online banking, because we're not seeing all the huge fees, and you get a higher percentage for the money that you have in there. So they have a premium savings that it's FDIC insured for $1.25 million in that account. So that means, let's say the world goes to shit, you're going to be covered theoretically up to $1.25 million. Anything you got over that? Oh my God, well, you got that in a checking account for. You're going to be making some money with that somewheres. Max rate checking, it's basically a free transfer from a brick and mortar bank to here to get more interest with it, that you're going to park that money. Maybe you're saving for a house, and instead of getting the 0.05, you get the 0.25, 0.35 from max checking. Why wouldn't you do that, man? If you're parking money and just saving for it, why wouldn't you do it there? E-Trade checking is a basic, no money. It costs you nothing in monthly fees, and they'll even give you free checks. So kind of how you go wrong there. They'll even give you a little debit card, and you'll be able to swipe it and do whatever. And of course, that'll be free for you to be able to use as well. E-Trade also gives you a line of credit against your investments. So let's say you got $1 million in stocks, right? I know that sounds lofty. And let's say they'll give you $250,000 in a line of credit. Of course, you'll have to pay back towards that line of credit. And as long as that stock market portfolio doesn't come down, you'll still have that line of credit. And let's say you want to buy a new car. Maybe you get it against your line of credit, and you pay towards the line of credit in order to be able to afford that rather than finance that. But really, you'll figure that out. Really look into that. Hit the learn more on here, and you'll know more about it once you get started. They offer a fully lending program, so if you want to buy a house, they're involved in that as well. They do cash management, life insurance policy. They do a whole lot. That's why I like the E-Trade, and it's very simple to use, and I'm pretty happy with it. We can go back to my portfolio. I'll show you how easy it is. Literally, you hit the trade button, and it comes up, and it'll tell you, you'll have a buy action, a sell action. You'll put the amount of them you want to buy or sell, and then you'll put the type that you want at the market or the market at close, which is the end of day number at 4:30, whenever end of day is. Or you can put a limit. Hey, if it's $1 and you only want to buy at 0.96, you can do that, okay? And it'll only execute if it hits that number. And if it doesn't execute, it costs you jack. Stop quote, which means if it hits a certain amount of money up here, it sells for you. And there's a stop limit. If it hits amount of money down here, it sells it for you, okay? And then you go for the duration. I always go for good for the day or immediate. You'll put this in, there'll be different amounts for duration, and it'll preview the order, and then you'll either hit, execute or not. Simple, simple, simple. It also gives you a lot of research and ways to look things up. and, and find out a little bit more about it. If we go back to this, I can even show you some specifics about companies and say, let's look up Netflix. Everybody knows Netflix one way or the other. It'll give you charts, it'll give you news, it'll give you options, it'll give you research, it'll give you the fundamentals, it'll give you the earnings, it'll give you all the inside activity. It'll give you analyst research and tell you basically, hey, is it a good idea to buy this? It'll also give you what it's done in 5 days, what it's done in 1 day, 1 month, 3 months, year to date, 1 year, or to give you 5 years, and you'll be able to know what the hell you're looking at and what kind of growth's involved or loss. Pretty simple. That's why I like E-Trade, boys and girls, but there's Scottrade and there's some other platforms. I've dealt with Scottrade before. I was not a fan. I'm a fan of E-Trade. Anytime I've got on the phone for customer service, they pick the phone up. I don't have to wait for a call back, okay? Yes, we're going through this pandemic, and sometimes people don't work and they're not next to the phone. I haven't had that problem with E-Trade, not one time. So I'm pretty happy with them. I do call, I do talk to them. I ask them questions. If I don't understand, they got some answers. Really good people. They all seem to know what the hell they're talking about and can't wait to help you. That's what I like about E-Trade. So if you find this interesting, you want to go into some other things, you want to look into it, I can give you what I like to do. We got a future program coming up where it's going to tell you how to buy stocks in my mind. And you may have some other ideas. If you do, of course, comment, let us know. I'm not above learning something. I hope you're not either. All right, that's what I got. All right, have a good day.